You didn't just ruin the cake, you ruined her self-esteem. I stood at the kitchen doorway, my voice cold as a blade. Mother froze, her eyes filled with shock and unmistakable guilt. You think this is education, but it's cruelty, I said, stepping closer and taking Kayla's hand. Father looked down, unwilling to meet my gaze, and Ariana widened her eyes, clearly not expecting anyone to defy authority. Tonight, you are no longer my family, I said coldly. Mother recoiled into the corner, tasting the fear of losing control for the first time in years. That night, the kitchen erupted with sharp, harsh words. You can't even make a cake properly, can you? Mother stood in the doorway, hands on her hips, a cold smirk on her lips. Mom, I said, placing the tray on the table, my hands trembling slightly. Kayla clutched the tray's edge, her fingertips reddened by the heat. I spent so long on this. Enough. Mother waved dismissively. 4 hours? And it's still a mess. It's not a mess. I couldn't help raising my voice. Kayla, the cake is beautiful. Ariana leaned back in her chair, smirking. Haha, Mom's at it again. Father kept his head down, tapping the table with his fingers, saying nothing. Kayla bit her lip, her eyes beginning to glisten. I can try again. Try? This isn't the time, Mother said coldly. Wait until you're older. I straightened, staring at her. Enough, Mom. Your words hurt. Mother raised an eyebrow. Hurt? She's just learning what's standard. I lowered my voice. This is humiliation, not standards. Kayla pulled her hands back, hugging herself tightly. I crouched down and looked at her. It's okay. You did well. Ariana pouted. Mom's just like that, you know. Father remained silent, as if he saw nothing. I took a deep breath, holding back my anger. All right, let's clean up the kitchen. You come with me to your room. Kayla nodded, handing me the tray. I reached for her, and Mother glared at us from the doorway. I looked at her. Tonight, you are no longer my family. Mother opened her mouth, but no words came out. Father lifted his head, looking at us with a blank expression. Ariana's jaw dropped, clearly not expecting anyone to stand up to her. We turned and left the kitchen. The night air cut through the hallway, cold and sharp. Kayla held my hand tightly, and we stepped toward freedom. I had been the golden child of the family since I was little. Mother always said, if it's worth doing perfectly. I still remember a 4th grade math assignment. I spent 2 full hours writing it, not a single pencil mark escaping her scrutiny. She sighed, tore half the paper away, and made me redo it. I cried for 2 hours, my hands smeared with graphite, my shame deeper than any tears. Ariana was always spoiled. Whatever she did, Mother would smile and say, she's still little. My efforts were always taken for granted. Even as an adult, climbing the career ladder and earning promotions, all I received was Mother's subtle acknowledgement. Money, support, favors, her trust never included real respect. I worked hard, moved to another city, got married, and had children. When Kayla was born, I thought I could break Mother's cycle, but every visit home replayed the same old script. No matter how well Kayla drew or how hard she tried, it was always quietly dismissed or mildly criticized. That night at dinner, I watched Mother casually toss Kayla's cake into the trash, as if discarding not just food, but a child's self-esteem and hope. I felt the heat in my hands and realized I had the power to break the cycle. I decided I would no longer tolerate it. After dinner, I quietly entered the kitchen and stared at the crushed remains of the cake in the trash. Kayla stood at the doorway, her eyes empty and stiff. I reached out, but she didn't move. She just stood there like a statue. I took a deep breath and calmly said, "Let's go home." Mother's face immediately changed. Father froze and Ariana sat dumbfounded. My voice didn't waver. "Tonight, you are no longer my family." As we walked out of that house, the night wind stung our cheeks. Kayla held my hand tightly, her small figure light yet full of trust. I knew we were leaving behind not just a dinner table, but decades of oppression, shame, and silent control. Back home, I didn't cry or shout. I quietly sat at my desk, canceling, closing, and deleting every automatic transfer, family fund, and long-term loan. Each click felt like pulling free from a chain that had bound me. The next day, Mother called, sharp with accusation. "You're childish. You've embarrassed the whole family." I answered calmly. Throwing away Kayla's cake wasn't education. It was cruel. Father called too, his tone gentle but manipulative. "You should call your mother back, smooth things over." I finally understood. This was their version of education. Not guidance, not care, but control maintained through humiliation. So I began my counterattack, calm, calculated, leaving no opening. Step 1. I froze all long-term debts and automatic transfers. They were used to my goodwill. So when the money disappeared, they panicked. Calls, texts, pleas all met with my silence. Step 2. I contacted a lawyer to confirm all prior authorizations had expired. Formal notices, filings, reports, all legally documented. Every move deliberate. Every response icy and precise. Step 3. I stayed silent in social circles, but let the facts, backed by records and bank statements, speak for themselves. Their control and threats began to crumble. Their lies had nowhere to hide. 2 weeks later, the first repayment arrived. $6,000 sitting on the screen as proof of acknowledgement. I didn't cheer, just quietly watched, feeling a rare lightness. Kayla gradually regained her smile. She tried flipping pancakes in the kitchen, burned side up, and didn't rush to apologize. I said, "It's okay. That's enough." She was surprised, then grinned, her laughter crisp like clashing metal. Evan looked at us, smiling. "You've become dangerous." I smiled slightly. "We're just free." Eventually, Mother and Father's control completely failed. The house was sold, and they moved 3 hours away to maintain a facade of indifference. Ariana visited occasionally, but seeing Kayla's unrestrained laughter, she too became quieter. I no longer provided financial support, nor bore any of the family's invisible debts. Every deep breath felt like clearing dust from my lungs. Our life returned to its natural rhythm. Kayla no longer flinched at minor criticism. She learned confidence, learned that mistakes were okay. Evan no longer worried about me being dragged back by old habits. Our home finally held warmth and safety. 6 months later, I hadn't heard from my parents once. Their silence was like a closed door, not oppression but space and freedom. Each time Kayla flipped pancakes or scattered flour in the kitchen, I laughed. She laughed freely, and my heart felt light. I had once believed that working hard and giving was love. Now I knew true love isn't control. It's protection, space, and allowing children to breathe independently. In that warm kitchen, I said to Kayla for the first time, "That's enough." She smiled like spring sunlight, spilling into every corner of our home. And I knew I had done just right. Not too much, not too little.